Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific. You know what? I just got done watching an awesome trailer that one of my fans made for me, and I love it. If he sends it to me, I'll post it, and you guys got to see this. This is just great. You know what I like about trailers? They really make me look bigger than I am. Somebody wrote in and said that some uh, some movie company needs to cast Pacific. No pun intended. I don't know if he meant cast me from the boat or actually put me in the cast. But hey, that'd be fun. You know what? Somebody asked me a question, so I have to address it. What do I think about the government shutdown? Out this street out in front of the house here and down south, there's a federal center. It employs a whole lot of people. The owner of the house told me yesterday, tomorrow you won't hear much traffic out there. And I said, there's that much traffic? And this is a major thoroughfare, rush hour almost all day. He said a lot of that's federal center traffic. You know, I have to be careful what I say because there are services we have to have. We have to have surveillance and the military on alert and stuff like that. But if shutting down the Congress meant shutting down the House and the Senate and politicians making too much money and making a dent in their wallet, I'm all for it. Unfortunately, I don't think that the shutdown is going to do much good. Obama has already threatened to veto any bill, even if the Senate collaborates with the House. The president can just veto it. Sometimes that's pretty scary when the House and the Senate conjointly decide to put something together, and the president, one man, can just blow that all out the window. I don't know if I like that at all. We have checks and balances, but it doesn't seem like there's a check there. The thing that bothers me about this whole thing is the more I look at it, there's a thing in the Denver Post in Monday's paper talking about Obamacare and what's coming down, and it just reeks to me, fans, viewers, and watchers, it just reeks to me that Obama's favoring big corporation. He's forcing everybody to pay into these HMOs, and it's not affordable. Again, based on the reading I've done, we're looking at $350 a month. Now, a viewer wrote in and said, I think your information is wrong. You're going to get a voucher and a huge tax credit. I've heard that. But the outlay is $350 a month. If I were to sit down and tell you how much I made and break it all down and tell you that I'm not paying rent and then add into that what typical Denver rent is, not for Taj Mahal, but just a livable place that's probably going to be putting up with noisy neighbors, loud traffic, barking dogs, you're looking at $700, $800, $900 a month for rent. Okay? That right there is half my monthly pay. Rent used to be a third, not anymore. So if I were to pay rent, plus my $200, $250 a month in gas, truck insurance, and then a week ago I put in $780 in brake repair, and then you add up food, which is not cheap anymore. I'm paying at least $300 a month on food, at least. I don't buy steak. I buy pork chops when they're on sale. I buy eggs and potatoes in a 10-pound bag, canned black beans, navy beans, cannellinis, and what are they, pinto beans, and vegetables. And I don't even buy the fresh produce. I buy a lot of frozen and then throw them in the stir fry and stuff. Buy some of the cheap tilapia fish. The thing that bothers me about this is that it appears to me that our leaders and the politicians just don't care about those of us making this income. They seem to want to favor the middle class, but here's the kicker. Say I had two children and a wife right now. Obama expects me to pay $16,000 a year for the bronze level. Okay, that would take my whole annual pay right there, right off the top, just in health insurance. That's if my wife didn't work, if I was married. What bothers me is who is thinking this crap up? You're going to make people pay their entire paycheck to health insurance? Where's the food, the rent, the gas, and your daily sustenance? Viewers, if you know something I don't, then educate me. I'm not above that. But don't tell me a bunch of hate comments just because you're an Obama lover and want to give him a big group hug. Give me some facts. They're still picking this stupid thing apart and trying to figure out what's in it. That scares me. The politicians didn't bother to read the 2,500 pages on this thing. You know what? Obamacare sucks. It reeks. I believe in the Health Care Reform Act, if it truly was reformed. But what it should have done is gone after the HMOs and said, look, you're charging too much. We got 80-year-old woman who's diagnosed with cancer, and we're going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in treatments. Now, I'm not supporting euthanasia, but there's a pretty good chance she'll die in a year or a couple years. Then we got some young guy who's healthy, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, and they're going to charge him more to pay for all these, oldsters. There's something wrong with that. I believe that somebody who lives a healthy lifestyle should get rewarded, not punished. So we're going to reward fat and obese people by charging them less, and old people by charging them less, and those of us that are healthy, we're going to get charged more. Sounds to me like that just isn't fair. I believe smokers and drug addicts and people getting into partying, drinking, getting drunk, people that are obese, I'm not talking a little thick. Viewers, when I'm talking about obesity, I'm talking about gross obesity. I'm talking 70 to 100 pounds or more overweight. Why should we pay for that? Why should the American people pay for all these lazy people that don't want to discipline themselves? We shouldn't. This is why government needs to stay out of healthcare. If anything, they need to manage the HMOs and say, hey, look, we know you're a for-profit business, but how much money do you need to make? We need to stop litigation. Doctors getting sued millions of dollars and having to carry huge, expensive malpractice insurance policies is just unaffordable. Durable medical equipment. Go check out the price of a wheelchair, a cane, one of those little bed pans and toiletry stuff and all that. Start looking at the cost of that. It is ridiculous. You can spend thousands of dollars on a basic chrome wheelchair, the old kind you push. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. America's charging too much for stuff. Too much for gas, too much for food, too much for everything. And all this is being passed on to us, and we're not getting the raises. And Home Depot, Walgreens, and other companies are saying, well, we're just not going to provide health insurance. Well, that's great. That means their profit margin just went up, and the American consumer's profit margin went down. Okay, here's something I would suggest then. How about if these corporations, if they're not going to provide health insurance, at least give us at least $2 more an hour raise? Because that would handle the $350 a month, I believe. And it depends on how many hours. If we get 40 hours a week, 40 times 4, that's 160. So you multiply that by $2, and you're going to get what? You'll get pretty close to the, if it's 150 per paycheck, you'd need to go 175 per paycheck to make the 350. The point is, the employers could give a $2 an hour raise. They don't have to pay the $4,000 a month health insurance. Of course, maybe they would if they still did that. I don't know. All this has to be looked at, but that's the problem. They didn't look at it. They pass something through. It's going to impugn millions of hardworking Americans like me that aren't making the big money. Everybody says, well, you're going to get a voucher. The poverty level is $11,000. Anything over that, you have to pay it, period. Okay? I think my total is under $20,000. So, any of you guys know what my total cost is and how much of a voucher I get? But that's another thing that's not spelled out. How much are they going to compensate me for? So, this was about the government shutdown. I don't think it's going to do any good. I've told you before, we need to shut down all our military bases globally and bring everything in-house and home. We need to patrol the Mexican border. I'm going to say something too. We're going to be doing a video about this soon. The illegal Mexican immigration problem is sucking billions of dollars of American money right out from under us. They're getting paid under the table, which means they're not paying taxes. They're getting free medical care and all kinds of helps when a Mexican woman has a baby here. Let me tell you something. Illegal immigration in the U.S. is disgusting, and it is costing us billions of dollars. Shut down Okinawa, shut down the place in Germany, shut down these overseas bases, and put these men and women down on that border and patrol every square inch of it. Now, you guys aren't going to like my view. We send a message to the Mexican government. We're going to be like China or Iran or any other place. You climb over that fence, we're going to shoot. We're not playing games. We're going to end this problem now. Mexican people started realizing that they're going to get killed trying to cross our border. They're going to think twice about doing it. President Obama wanting to grant amnesty to millions of illegals, that is BS. I'm sick of it. Round those bastards up and get them out of here. I'm not sorry to use harsh words. I am not racist, but I'm watching something happen at work. And this is something that hit me the other day. I say a lot of stuff about white women, and they do need their butts spanked. White women got a problem in this country. Hands down. It is time for them to hear truth. They don't want to hear. Guys are saying it more and more. Other women are starting to see it. But I was in the break room the other day, and I was talking to a coworker that I respect, a white guy. And I said, you know what? I'm starting to realize something, just looking at the dynamics right in my transportation department. We got a lot of Mexican and Hispanic women and men in there. I've noticed they're not too friendly to me. They're friendly to all their Mexican kind. And I said, you know, Colorado's becoming more and more Hispanic. And though a lot of them may be friendly to me on the surface, I started asking myself a question. If they were in control of all of Denver, would they hire me? And I thought, I'll bet you they wouldn't. I started digging deeper, and I started asking myself the question. If the black people were in control, would they hire me? I'll bet you they wouldn't. If the Asians were in control, would they hire me? I'll bet you they wouldn't. I started digging deeper. And you want to know what I think? I think that all the stuff where we've been told we're racist, and sometimes white people are racist and skinheads and all this, haters and KKK, but not all. White people allowed all these other races to come in. White people have allowed people from all over the world to come in and meld into America. China doesn't. Africa is not too keen on you coming down there unless you have a skill that benefits them, which I understand. We're not doing that, U.S. Are we bringing people here that have a skill to offer us? Heck no. We bring people over here, illegals for crying out loud, that bring problems and drain the economic bathtub. Illegal immigration in the United States is costing us billions of dollars, folks. That's a lot of American money that we need. I am so tempted. If I was rich enough, I would do this. It'd be a violation of the law, but I would do this. I'd go get that thing taken care of in Hong Kong. I'd go find me a lovely Asian woman. And I'd go get a boat or charter somebody to boat me over to the U.S. and I'd bring her here and I'd house her. Wouldn't process paperwork, anything. Then I'd just wait for the next sitting-in president to grant all these illegals amnesty and say, okay, here's my Asian wife. Does she get the same status all these Mexicans get? I need to say this. This is not racism. This is not hate. But why are the illegals, why is it now that they don't want to call them illegals anymore? Why is it that the press is increasingly, do you know why? Because the white people in America are going to become a minority soon enough. And I believe that when that happens, people like Pacific and other white people are not going to get a job in their communities. I started to realize racism comes from the Mexicans, the blacks, and the Asians as well, not just the white people. If anything, America has stood up and given help to many nations out there. How many nations have given us help in times of disaster for us? None. I'm starting to get concerned. I would want to marry a white woman only to preserve my race. Excuse me. But when I look at white women in this country, they've lost their minds. Why would I want to be part of that? Yet at the same time, Pacific's information is coming full circle. I'm an endangered species. The white male is an endangered species. White men, black men, Mexican men, Asian men, write me and tell me what you think. Be nice. Tell me what you think. This is not racism. This is not saying that I'm elite. I'm not saying that. There are viewers of mine that are Mexican, Asian, black, and I love them and I like what they have to say. Many of them are brothers and sisters in the faith. But I want you to think about this issue intellectually and objectively. Am I speaking the truth? I think America's in trouble. White males are in big trouble. White women will find a way to make it. They'll always find somebody, sugar daddy, to take care of them. But we white men, I don't mean to be crude, guys, but no white woman's going to pay me for this body. We got to pay them. It's kind of disgusting. A woman, because of her looks, could get position, status, and favor. Me? If I wanted to become a domestic helper in Hong Kong and submit myself to being an indentured servant, the Hong Kong won't allow it. Only the Filipinos can get that, and the Indonesian women, and some other countries. I was thinking I wouldn't mind being a slave. Not in a bad way, folks. Not somebody's bondage buddy. But I thought if somebody treated me right, I'd love to serve them. Yeah, I'd love to clean their place, drive them around, take care of their estate, and not screw them. I'll tell you what, I'm concerned about the future of this country. Let me know what you think. This is Pacific signing off. Bye-bye.